Oh, this is session number 7, right?
7?
7, yeah.
Oh, oh.
Your voice actually is low a little bit, or the speaker. I don't know what's.
Check, can you hear me? Check, check, check,
Yeah, good now.
check. Let's see which one. Speaker. Check, check, check. Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Mhm.
All right, cool. All right. Today we're gonna do teaching writing.
Okay.
Um, Teaching writing
I did the
is
assignment. Sorry. I did the
oh
assignment.
yeah, yes, I forgot all about that.
We talked about
First,
reading.
yeah,
And
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So first, won't you read your journal?
Actually, you told me to write the differences or to make compare and contrast between the four
Yeah, yeah. First,
models.
first, let's start with your journal.
Sorry.
First, let's start with your journal.
Where did I stop?
No, no, no. I said first, let's start with your journal.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. I'm waiting for you.
Oh, okay. The first model, the Frishkin Kate, it's focused.
No, no. Start with your journal first. What you have
I,
learned this week, which your journal. Remember, we were on Tuesdays. We start with our journal response.
yeah. You told me we wrote about the teaching reading, right? And we have four models. My journal, you mean the assignment, right? I think it's,
Remember we do a journal every week, right?
what did I learn and how can I use,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you
no,
do it this week?
no, I didn't do it. I did
Okay.
the,
We'll do it on the next time we meet. So show me the give me the
I thought this
comparison.
is instead of the journal, my journal actually.
No, no, it's so give me the comparisons that you have.
Okay. What I did, you mean?
Yeah, the
Oh,
four
yeah.
different.
Yeah. خلاص, thank you. Okay, the first one, Fresh Kincaid it focuses on the length of the word and the sentence, the length of the sentence. Lexical level focuses on the difficulty of the vocabulary. الأتوس, the sentence length and the word length and the vocabulary, several factors. Gunning fog, sentence length and the percentage of the complex words. The first one, the Flish Kincaid, easy to use, it gives grade level score, widely recognized, but doesn't consider the vocabulary meaning. The lexical level, good for analyzing vocabulary level, but it ignores the sentence text and structure. Atos, most accurate, but it's more complex. And Gunning Fog, it's simple and clear indicator of the difficulty. Less details than Atos.
Which one would you feel comfortable using?
Atos.
Why?
I think because it has a combination of several factors, the sentence length, the word length, and the vocabulary.
Did you go on any websites to try to like test it out? Put like a passage into any
No,
of their
actually, no.
Did you get a chance to go on read.com or read theory?
No, well, I didn't open them actually.
You should really look at those. They have
Okay. Read theory
they
and
have
read outcome, right? Oh,
they use these different reading instruments, and you get to see them. Actually have your students use them if you get a chance. Have them do an activity on read theory. It's free,
okay.
um, just to see where their reading level is, um, and see if it compares to what you have observed in your class. With you've been with them for what, a semester now.
Mm,
So see if it aligns with what you believe their reading ability is.
mm, okay.
Uh, all right, let's slide into today's talk. Teaching writing. For
Okay.
me, I always say every teacher is a writing teacher,
Yeah.
regardless of whatever their subject expertise is, whatever their specialty is. Every
Mm,
teacher is a writing teacher. Every class should have some type of writing component, whether they're short responses or extended responses. Every teacher should have a writing component. Writing is where we challenge learners and we really get a real in-depth idea of where their intellectual abilities lay or lie rather. Um, if you prepare and you see that as a theme in teaching and listening, teaching, speaking, teaching, reading, it's all about preparation, right? All those things, teaching, listening, teaching, speaking, teaching, writing, they all prepare from an academic, from a pedagogical standpoint, they all prepare for the student to write something. Because again, the writing is the true synthesis. That doesn't mean that synthesis doesn't take place in those other activities, but synthesis should absolutely take place in the writing. Um, let's just get some things out of the way first. Number one, we never ask students to write in isolation. And what do I mean by that? Never ask
by
students to
themselves. To write by themselves. We need to guide them.
Right. So, well, guide them absolutely. That's our primary role as educators. But meaning the writing should be in collaboration with something else that you have done or you're currently doing, whether it's a reading activity, a listening activity, speaking activity, right? It should be in collaboration. Ideally, if you're framing your lessons appropriately, giving them something to listen to, something to watch, something to talk about, something to read, and then talk some more, listen some more, read some more. And then after we give them all these inputs, or what we call them comprehensible inputs, then the teacher, the educator, the scientist, the researcher decides when it is appropriate time to ask students to write. Okay. Now, when we ask them to write, we have to determine why we want them to write. Are we asking them to write to summarize? Are we asking them to write which would not necessarily be a synthesis, right? Just summary, regurgitating, but there is some higher order skills in summarizing. Are we asking them to analyze? right? Are we asking them to identify something? We have to know exactly what we're asking them for. We have to
Mm,
know exactly what we're asking them for when we're asking them to write. That should be something intentional.
mm,
So in the beginning of the unit, if we give them a writing activity, they should be brief or short writing responses that go after being able to being able to identify the main idea, or being able to identify the gist, or being able to identify different literary elements like the setting or who's the antagonist and protagonist. These are brief constructed responses. These are short responses that students can write. And these don't necessarily measure their writing ability. Now, let's slow down a bit and say this. Grammar is not writing, okay? No, mechanics is not writing, okay?
okay, one second.
Grammar is not writing, mechanics is not writing, punctuation, these are not, that's not writing, okay?
Okay.
So, let me put it this way. Um, I don't care how a student gets there. I don't care if they get there by bus, airplane, car, walk, bicycle, as long as they get there. And that's what grammar and mechanics are, right?
Okay. And we
That,
shouldn't focus on
that
the grammar mistakes, you mean?
yeah. So too many teachers focus on grammar.
Mm,
Now, I'm not saying that grammar is not important, but it's not it is important, but it's not essential.
mm,
That's two different things, right? Grammar is important, but it's not essential.
mm,
If I can understand what the learner is trying to communicate, I'm more concerned about what they're trying to communicate and the main idea and what they want me to extract from their writing than I am about their grammar and their mechanics.
okay.
Too many teachers are concerned about grammar and mechanics, and not concerned about the intellectual depth in which a student wrote, right?
Mm,
Um, so know that again, grammar is important, but it's not essential. Mechanics is important, but it's not
mm,
essential. And why is grammar and mechanics important? Because they actually support coherency. Obviously. However, the point that I'm trying to make is don't tie yourself so much into grammar, or
mm,
worry about a student grammar, or worry about a student's mechanics when the student is saying something amazing, something thoughtful, something mind-blowing, right? And you're so worried about their grammar, their subject verb agreement, or where they put the comma, that you are missing the amazing point that the learner is making. And then you deflate the learner because you're worried about grammar, and they have this high level postgraduate critical analysis that they just gave you, and you're worrying about the comma, or you're worrying about uh you know uh that he split his infinitives.
mm.
That's nonsense. Okay, that's complete nonsense. Okay.
Yes,
So, so again, grammar mechanics is important, but it's not essential. It's not writing. A student with the
exactly.
student with the students able to synthesize is writing.
Okay.
Their synthesis is writing. Their analysis is writing. When they're starting to live in higher order thinking, when I showed you Bloom's a couple of days ago, right? That's where writing lies. So again, in the beginning of a unit, it's okay to say, okay, what's the main idea? Write a sentence about the main idea. Who's the protagonist? Who's the antagonist? where's the following action? What's the climax of the story? Whatever the case may be. That's fine, but again, understand that that's lower level learning transact intellectual transaction.
Mm.
Okay, being able to identify these things. What the money, and again, I'm not saying those things are not important because they need to know the literary elements. They need to be able to identify the topic centers. They need to know, you know, the main point sentences. They need to know vocabulary. They need to know all these things. I'm not saying those things are not important. But what's most important is what they can extract from the work, from the reading, from the transactions. What have they extract from you in this unit? So the money for any teacher, especially an English teacher, a language arts teacher, history teacher, social studies teacher, the money, even a PE, every teacher, even the math teacher, the money is that writing, is the extended response. That's the money, because here is where they show their true intellectual abilities. Because what you're looking for is for them to not only regurgitate what you say, that's lower level thinking, but able to take what they read, take all the experiences from the class, all the learning transactions, stuff that they learned the previous years, right? Stuff that they didn't even learn in school, stuff that they learned from the when they went on vacation with their parents, stuff when they learned playing with their friends, stuff that, all the things that they have experienced in their life, and they're able to take those things to draw a synthesis based on the topic that you have presented to them. And that's the synthesis that we want.
Mm.
And that's what makes their writing unique. But so often we as educators, we miss opportunities because we are looking for a certain response. We're looking for that right answer. When it comes to their writing ability, what we're looking for is higher order thinking, and we're not looking for right or wrong answers.
Mm.
We're looking for whether they can stay on topic and whether they have a controlling idea. Whether they can stay on topic and they have a controlling idea and they're not breaking unity, they have good cohesion and they're coherent as much as they can be. And again, we can work on coherency. I can work on their grammar, right? I can sit down with them in a post-writing activity one-on-one or with their peers and help them rewrite or re-edit their work to make it more coherent. But I want the money for me is those raw ideas. Okay.
Yes.
So that means that everything that we're doing from the beginning of the unit, we are what? We are preparing them to write. Everything that we do. We're preparing them to write. Teaching and learning is about preparation. Teaching and learning is about preparing learners to solve a problem. That's what teaching and learning is about. Preparing learners to solve problems. So everything that we do is prepare, prepare, prepare. Prepare, prepare, prepare. We're preparing them for the reading act, for the listening. We're preparing them to speak. We're preparing them to read. We're preparing them to write. With writing being the highest intellectual pursuit that they're going to do in that class. The highest level pursuit, intellectual pursuit, academic pursuit. The second point that I want you to consume is the idea that anytime you give a learner a, a learner's a writing assignment, there must there must there must be a rubric attached to it. If it one thing doesn't grind my gears, is when teachers assign learners writing activities and there's no rubric attached to it. That irks me because the learner needs to know what the expectations are. What are you looking for? What are you looking for so they can be successful? Okay. If you don't, if you don't give a rubric, and a rubric is clear, and that rubric must be clear and concise on
Mm,
what success looks like for this assignment, for this writing assignment,
mm.
what success looks like. And as the younger the learners are, the more detailed the rubric would be. And as they grow, as they advance in the grades, you could be a little bit more cryptic in your rubric. Like for instance, in the third grade, you might tell a learner you should have 4 paragraphs, or this essay should have 5 paragraphs, right? And each paragraph should have 10 to 12 sentences, right? Whereas in the 11th grade, you might not want to give that strict guidance on the number of sentences or the number of paragraphs, right?
Okay.
But again, it all depends on their abilities. And if in
Perfect.
their level, if they're in the 11th grade and they're not a very good writer, they need that advanced structure.
Mm,
But my point, rubrics must be assigned, and the rubric must be appropriate to the learner needs. Okay. Because when you don't assign a rubric, what ends up happening is you're asking for them to plagiarize, you're asking for them to cheat.
mm,
And they may not, they may be doing it unintentionally. Okay. We all need rubrics, even when people write advanced publications, they have a rubric, style guides. When they're writing a paper, they can go on to the journal, and the journal tells them exactly what should be in the paper, right?
mm,
We have APA, seventh edition, right? We can pull up this APA. We have style guides. So if people with PhDs and master degrees and bachelor's degrees, if they need style guides and they need assistance, don't you think a third grader, a seventh grader, 11th grader needs assistance? Needs that same type of support? Absolutely.
mm.
Okay. Um, Now that's my kind of you must do these things, right? Now,
Okay.
when we're talking about the basic principles of writing, first and foremost, we must establish context. And we know context is what? What's the definition for context?
Um, the situation. The
The
learners should,
situation,
yeah,
situation,
understand. That the learners should understand.
the situation the
Right?
learners understand, right?
Alhamdulillah. Just I want to write it. Please give me 1 second. Writing principles. The context. Okay.
Okay. So first, you must establish context. That should be pretty easy by the time you get to the writing,
Mm,
because as I said before, you're gonna give them smaller, little, brief, constructed responses, right? You
mm,
know, targeted. What's the main idea? What's the details? What did Bob say to Mary? These are little short responses.
oh,
Let me say this to you. These little short responses, these are great opportunities to also um, point out grammar points, point out mechanical points. All right. So you
mm,
can do that grammar thing. If you love the grammar thing, you can do that in the short responses. Don't be a grammar Nazi in the longer responses. Okay. So you can knock two birds out with one stone. Okay. So, but my point is when they have that big paragraph they have to write or big essay or research paper at the end of the unit, maybe depending on how big the unit, maybe it's two writing assignments, right? Depends on the unit, but every unit should have at least one major writing assignment. And again, it must be appropriate for the age. A second grader, it might be just a paragraph.
Mm.
A fifth grader, it might be a short little essay. An eighth grader, it might be a 5-page essay. My son's in the fourth grade now, fifth grade, fifth grade. He's writing 5-page essays, right? Not 5-page, 5 paragraph, not 5 pages, five
Perfect.
paragraph.
Yeah.
Um, so it must be appropriate for
Mm.
their age, like,
Their age,
you
yes.
know, and their abilities.
Mm.
Um, so um, so throughout that unit, you're establishing context, obviously. So it should before they write this big work, whether it be a paragraph, whether it be a couple sentences, whether it be an essay, right?
Mm.
Whether it be 5-page, 10-page paper, you should have given them so many inputs, right?
Mm.
They should have gotten they should have gotten speaking inputs, right? They should have, I mean, opportunities to speak. They should have gotten opportunity, excuse me, let's start from the beginning. They should have gotten opportunities to read, right? They should have gotten opportunities to speak on the topic. They should have had opportunities to read several pieces on the topic, pieces from the textbook, pieces from the internet.
Mm.
They should have gotten opportunities to listen, maybe a TED talk, something on YouTube, an audio clip, right?
So it's okay if they go to search about the topic and read about it, right?
You can
And write.
initially you're going to give them the core materials that you want them to consume, and then as the unit moves forward, I mean, as the unit progresses, you may give them opportunities to research
Research
certain
and its own.
certain
طب انت you
controlling
know
ideas. But here's the thing: you're not going to have them research willy-nilly. You're going to have them research certain controlling ideas about the topic,
mm,
right? So let's say the topic is global warming, right?
mm,
Global warming, there's a lot of things to talk about,
mm,
right? So you may have them research about sustainability, or you
mm.
may have them research about um, recycling or reusing or reducing, right? You might
Okay.
have them research about composting. So make sure it's targeted. You don't not just really, okay, guys, I want you to go on the internet and research something about
Mm.
global warming. Well, you're gonna have all types of
Yeah,
things.
I got
You
it. Oh,
you
yeah,
want to
yeah.
be targeted. So throughout the unit, there's different segments and different pieces throughout the unit. So if the unit is about global warming, you're
Mm,
probably gonna have something about, what's going on, what's going on with the oceans. You might have something about, recycling. You might have something about sustainability. You might have something about greenhouse gases. And so you have all these different inputs throughout the unit, right?
okay, but the
Um,
problem here is they are writing the same sentences as in Google. That's what I don't like. Is it
Today
okay
again.
to write the same sentences in Google? The same sentences that they read? th- Is it okay to write the same sentences as what they read as yes, I asked them to go and read about it, research for this, but the problem is they are writing the same sentence not in their point of
So
them.
they find something on the internet and then they regurgitate the sentence.
Ah, yes.
All right. So
How
again,
can
that's
we
a
solve
little.
this problem? I told
So,
them don't write the same copy paste, just write in your language. Oh, what did you get? What did you understand? Just write it again. Is it
so
correct or how can we solve this problem?
so I would say initially they can do it as a pre-writing activity. This is your pre-writing activity. You can do this in your brainstorm, but you
Oh,
cannot do this. You cannot do it in your drafts. All right.
mm.
So then now you have to and see that you have to layer everything. So if you find that to be an issue, now we have to teach them how to summarize.
Summarize. Oh, okay.
You have to teach them. So you have to teach them the skill of summarizing,
Just
right?
write the main important ideas.
Right. So you
Mm,
have to model that for them. You have to model what summary looks like, what a summary looks like.
mm,
You know, that's the beauty of this stuff, right? And you could do it all throughout the school year with in every unit. Because they're not going to get it in the first unit, they're not going to get it in the second unit. But if you're doing it and you're consistently showing them and modeling how to summarize, they
mm,
eventually they're going to stop just writing the what they see down on the Google or um whatever resource they're using. They're going to stop just writing word for word. So you got to model. You remember this one thing. You have to inspect what you expect. Okay. And
mm,
then if they're a little bit older, depending on the age, depending on their abilities,
mm,
depending on, how smart they are, whatever that means, then you might want to show them how to paraphrase, right?
mm,
But initially, the first skill we normally teach is how to summarize.
mm,
Right? So the great thing about summary is what? You can teach them two things, digest. See, that's when the listening comes in. Because in the listening activity, you're teaching them the gist. And then you're asking them to tell you what the gist is, right? And
mm,
then they're and then they read for the gist to get the gist, right? And then
mm,
they can write for the gist,
mm,
right? And these are the short responses, the brief constructed responses that I talked about earlier. So,
mm,
so the summary, so when they go and you say, hey, look, go online or go in your textbook or go wherever and research this, right? And I'm gonna model it first for you. So you model it because you got to remember you're doing what? Teacher, student,
mm.
student, teacher. Doing it. Whether
Yes.
it's a speaking activity or a writing activity, you're doing the same
Mm,
thing. So you're modeling for it. So you take a newspaper article or you take something in the textbook and you read it. You read it in class. You go through all
mm,
the reading techniques that we talked about, right? You go through and then then you ask, what is the gist
oh,
of this? And then you model the gist. You write the gist down. This story is about blank, all right? In the summary, right?
mm. This is the problem that I faced actually with my kids. I have a girl, she's in seventh grade, and one boy in fourth grade. They are writing about something. I know not everything they will write about, they know about it before. That's why I asked them, go research, read about it. But the problem that I face, they are writing the same sentences in
Because they
Google.
don't because they don't know how to summarize. You have to teach
Yeah.
them how to
Oh, okay. Mm,
so you have to model that for them, and they should do several activities throughout the unit, through all the units where they have to summarize. You give them a
yes.
piece of
This is
say,
a good
okay,
point.
maybe something in the textbook. All right, we're gonna summarize this until they get, until they finally get it, until you feel comfortable that they finally get it. They might not get it the first unit, second unit, third unit. They might not get it to the end of the year, but you just hammer summary, how to summarize.
Yes, yes,
And
it's
and,
good.
and let me say this. I'm talking about these big, this big synthesis. Work on that first.
Mm,
Make sure that they're able to write a sentence or write a summary, write the gist on their own. That's important.
okay.
And make sure that sentence or those sentences are coherent.
Mm,
It's important. So you can't put the cart before the horse. So if they can't summarize, that means they won't be able to analyze.
okay. Then they have to summarize, then write.
Analyze is the next is a higher order skill than
Uh,
summary, right? Summary falls in what? Summary falls on the lines of comprehending.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a comprehension skill, is to summarize,
Mm.
right?
Okay. They have to summarize, then write.
So
I start
then
writing.
you, right.
Mm.
So make sure they can do the basic things first. All right.
Perfect.
They get yes, they get they know what the details are,
Mm.
right? They know what's going on in the story. They pick up on certain cues in the work, right?
Mm.
They can give you the main idea. They can talk to you about what the author means. So let's talk about this. I think we talked about this before, but let's because this is a very important point. The gist is different than the main idea.
Mm.
All right. And a lot of teachers don't hammer this point.
Yes. Oh.
So we got to make sure that they understand because we all talk about critical thinking, but we never model it well and we never present it well.
Mm.
Critical thinking starts off with listening, speaking, reading, and the educator giving some comprehensible inputs that the student knows and can understand, right? And it's compelling. And then working through drills where they could tell you what the reading was about or what they listened to, what was about. And then they can identify details, right?
Mm.
Identify key points, main points. They can identify the organization of the work to finally do what? Know what the main idea is. So what is the difference between main idea and just or just and main idea? What is the difference? You
It
remember?
just
Did we talk?
Yes, yes. We said that the main eye it just is what's the it's about in general, right? If
Right.
it is
What's that about
but
general?
yes, the main idea it's more specific.
Right.
Um,
What the author intends.
what the
What the
author.
author wants you to take. What the author wants you to take away from the reading.
This is the
Remember,
this
I
is
gave
this is the gist, right?
no.
With
That's the main idea.
the main
The
idea,
the gist is what what the work was about.
what the work is about. Oh, okay.
The main idea is what the author wants you to take away from the work. So remember, I gave you the example of the book Animal Farm, right?
Mm.
Well, the book is about a bunch of animals who take over the farm
Okay.
because the farmer wasn't too nice to them and was neglecting them. And then over time, the animals began to be not nice to one another.
Mm.
That's the gist of Animal Farm. That's the gist of that book, right?
Mm.
However, the main idea is something different, right? Because the main idea, the author wants us to extract a lot more than what literally happened in the story. He was talking about politics. He's talking about he's making a social statements. He's talking about power. He's talking about conflict. He's talking about greed. There's a lot of things, a lot of points that the author wants us to extract from the book The Animal Farm. All right. So
Mm.
a eighth grader may read Animal Farm,
Mm.
right? Grader may read Animal Farm and say, "Well, it's about a bunch of animals taking over a farm," and
Yes.
then and then and then beginning to uh, have a lot of infighting, and they might not be able to pick up on the parallels between or the personifications, if you will,
Mm.
of how we act as humans, right?
Mm.
So what the book is about and what the author wants us to take away from the text is two
Mm.
different things. And we need to point that out to learners. If we want them to critically think,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
If we really want to work on critical thinking, That has to be the exercise in your read and when you're teaching reading. And that's what teaching reading is really about. Teaching reading is about critical thinking, about higher order thinking, preparing students to what? Synthesize.
Mm,
Whether it's the synthesis and hopefully, and this is what I tell most teachers, the synthesis should always initially be writing.
mm,
And then from writing, then they can form, they can begin to speak. They're going to become better speakers when they write well first. Again, a lot of teachers will praise the writing, the speaking part, because the speaking part is easier to praise than the writing. See, the teacher doesn't want to go home on a Wednesday night and grade papers, right? Or on a Saturday morning,
yes.
Saturday night, Sunday to grade papers. It's easier to sit there and watch a learner talk, right? And praise them for that, right? But it should be speaking, it should be listening, speaking, reading all throughout the unit, right? Listening, speaking, reading, listening, speaking, reading, listening, speaking, reading, listening, speaking, reading, listening, speaking, reading. And then when you deem, and then sprinkled in with these um brief constructed responses. What's the main idea? What are the details? What's the gist? Right? What's the falling action? Whatever the case may be, right? And then when the educator, when the researcher is ready to say, okay, now I want you to try something where we can synthesize. I want you to write a paragraph. I want you to write a paragraph giving me your opinion or explaining why. That why is an amazing question.
Mm,
Why? Because now the learner has to support their
okay.
answer, to
Mm,
synthesize, they have to think deeply. All right. Who, what, when, where, right? Even how. These are your brief constructed responses. Right. And if you ask a lot of those questions, what happened is you are actually promoting them to write word for word what they see in the text or what they see on the internet.
sorry, again, who? And
Who,
again,
what, when, who, let's put it this way. Who, what, when, where, and how they should be limited to brief constructed responses.
okay.
And again, here, depending on how you run your show, this is a great time. It's two times to promote grammar and mechanics
Mm,
during while they're reading, to point out grammar points while they're reading, and then doing brief constructed responses.
mm. Yes,
Okay.
we by asking them these questions, we encourage them to think more and to give us
But they
more information.
remember they are low level questions
Oh, no,
because
no.
they can go right in the text and extract those. So we use those questions to to support sentence structure,
Mm,
to support identification, comprehension, right? To make sure that the learner actually comprehends the text. To make sure they actually read the text, right?
mm.
Sometimes
Very good that
they didn't even read it, right?
mm,
To make sure they actually read the text, right? What is the gist? What is this about? Right?
Yes, you are right.
Right. So these are the type of questions that you're going to ask at the beginning of the unit or at the preliminary stages of writing
Writing.
writing opportunities. And these are short responses. These are 1, 2 sentences long, depending on the age, might be a paragraph if they're a little
Mm,
bit older. This is how you get them to, and again, you model. You do a lot of modeling here, right?
mm,
You model, right? You show them what a response looks like. Even here, you give them a rubric. Even for brief constructed responses, they must have a rubric. The
mm,
rubric is obviously going to be short. It's not going to be very long, but a rubric nevertheless. Even for a sentence, they should have a rubric. Okay. The why questions, the why questions are going to be the more what I call the money questions. where they have to demonstrate higher order thinking, where they have to synthesize. Okay. And again, once you do that, then you can go back and do another speaking activity. Once they have demonstrated in their writing and they construct well constructed responses, then you can take it a step further and have them give a speech, do a
Give them the
podcast.
opportunity to speak, yeah. Mm.
Because now they have so much knowledge,
Mm.
and now they can, we can work on impromptu speaking. This is
Mm.
where now we're moving into really high level stuff, right? But you got to do all the little small things first to get them there. You can't jump it,
Mm.
and it takes a lot of patience. This is why I hate pacing. I hate this term pacing. And the coordinator comes around. What page are you on? You got to hurry up. No, we're going to take as much time as we
Nice.
need to
Discussion.
get
Open.
it, right? This is not about turning pages. This is about making sure if we start it, we're gonna finish it and we're gonna do it well, and we're gonna do it in a manner where the learner can demonstrate that they have gotten something, they can solve a problem with
Mm.
what they're given. Okay. Um, Again, also when we talk about context, I'd be remiss to say you gotta include vocabulary, right? They have to have those quicks. They have to have Lexus. You remember what I told you Lexus was? What is Lexus?
Vocabulary, the difficult words, right?
No,
The
no.
pay attention to the vocabulary.
What is Lexus? What is
Uh,
Lexus? It's chunks, word chunks.
yes, junk words. Yes.
Word chunks. All right, because that the word chunks create context.
Wait, just let's go back a little bit. You said we have to give them the quicks.
So your quicks are words in context of vocabulary.
So we need to
Vocabulary,
front loaded the quicks
vocabulary.
into
Okay. Yeah. So remember, when we do teaching speaking,
mm,
when we teach listening, when we
listening.
teaching, remember we always give them quicks.
Yeah.
You're gonna read, we're gonna listen to a podcast about, we're
Uh,
gonna read informational text about,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
We front load the quicks. You may hear these words. And again, the quicks are not difficult words.
The words that we need
You
the
don't
students to learn.
These are the words that help them, that's going to help them with understanding of the text, to help them to understand the gist and the main idea. These are the words in context. You do not have to go over difficult words. Remember when we talked about teaching
Oh,
reading,
not
you can
difficult.
park and lot those difficult words, right? You can put those words in the parking lot. A student raise their hand and say, I don't know what asphyxiation means, right? If asphyxiation is not really relevant to the context
Mm,
of
okay.
the text, then you could parking lot that and deal with the quicks, deal with the words that are going to help with the gist of the text and the
Mm.
main idea. Okay, so again, I want to establish that the quicks are not, and vocabulary are not difficult
Not difficult
words.
words. Oh, not difficult words.
They're
Okay.
the words that will help the learner with the context. Okay, that's
Mm.
the vocabulary. Lexis is something different. Lexis is a word chunks. Words, and you have co-location, co-text, co-text. These
I'm writing.
co-locate
Just give me 1 second, please. Lexics again, please. Oh, lexic.
Lexis, Lexis. These are word chunks. These are
Words.
word chunks that we tend to use together. You tend to find these words together.
Oh,
Lexis.
what
We
do you mean
use them
by
together.
Lexis? Or what again?
These are words that we use and phrases that we use together, and they help form context. Okay.
Together as phrases?
They could be phrases, they could be just groups of words that we use together in a certain situation. And these words create context. So you have cotext. Cotext, Cotext. These are words that are together. And normally when words are together, they create context.
Okay, okay. Context. What do we have to do? We have to front load the Lexus or the Quicks? Both.
Both.
Both. Oh, okay. Well,
Both.
okay, got it.
And then difficult words that the students, learners may not understand, but are not really relevant to the meaning of the text. You can parking lot those words. You can put those words on board and get to them later. It's
Okay,
okay. A parking lot, this word, I'm going to tell you what it means, but that word is not really important right at this moment.
okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So you have to establish the context. Two, the next basic principle is that you have to personally involve the learner. Anytime they read this
Yeah,
stuff,
yes. We have to. What?
you have to involve the learner. And this is the hard
And
part.
what? Oh,
Sometimes this is why I don't like textbooks.
this is
This,
number three by Mr. Rainer.
this is number
Wait,
two.
wait. Just give me 1 second to transfer that. I lost. This the first one, the context. Okay. Sorry. No, this is number three. We said the
No.
context.
The other things are kind of you must do these, that you must keep these things in mind. Rubric, right?
No, context and front-loaded the quicks or lexics. Number three, we have to involve the learners.
No. This
This is
for basic principles. The first thing is context.
okay.
Under context, under context, you're gonna model it.
Mm,
You're gonna model. Number two, you're gonna make sure you front load the quicks and you front load Lexus word chunks.
okay, front.
Number two, you have to personally involve the learner. All right.
Uh,
Remember, I think lesson two, we talked about the amygdala, right? We talked about the amygdala. That every last one of us have an amygdala. Every last one of us, we have an amygdala,
I forgot what
right?
this one.
And what does the amygdala say? What is concerned with? What's in it for me? What's in
Oh,
it for
yeah, yeah.
me?
Oh, oh.
Do I
So,
need to learn this? I don't need to read
why
this
do I
story.
need to learn? Oh, it's
Dumb story. This dumb story, Romeo and Juliet. This is a dumb story. What
oh,
I need to learn this. This is stupid. I don't need to learn nothing about no Shakespeare. Why I gotta learn Shakespeare? Why I gotta read the Three Musketeers? This is stupid, right?
oh.
So you have to, if it's required reading, and it's something that the school or the school district or the curriculum demands that they read, then you have to find a way to get them excited about that reading. You have to find a way to personalize it for them. So that means you got to do a lot of pre-work. You cannot do that if you don't know anything about them. If you fail to utilize the learner profile,
Yes, we should.
you need to know the students' wants, needs, and expectations. If you do not do that, then you're going to have trouble on your hands. Students not going to want to read the work. They're going to get into what? Fight. What's the other? Fight.
Fight, freeze, or fly.
Yeah.
Mm.
Pulling hair. I gotta go to the bathroom. I need to
Mhm.
call my.
Yes.
Oh, do this. Why can't we watch the movie? I want to. Can we go outside and play? I'm
Yes.
hungry. Okay. You have to personally involve them.
Mm.
The best thing is to read things that you know they enjoy by asking them, by taking surveys and things like that. But sometimes we have required reading,
Mm.
right? That the school or the curriculum demands that we cover a particular work. So our job as educators is to turn that work into something that is
Exciting.
consumable,
Mm.
exciting for the reader.
Mm.
This this must include discussion, sharing, collective brainstorming,
Yes.
right? You have to, this is where you get paid right there. You got to be creative.
Mm.
Okay. The next basic principle is
Yes.
generate and share ideas, is
Again.
generate and share ideas and vocabulary.
Generate, sorry, again.
Generate and share ideas and vocabulary.
Oh, okay.
All right. So remember, this is teaching writing, right?
Yeah.
So we want to say, hey, look, we talked about that. We're talking about these things. Maybe I should see these type of words in your writing.
Mm.
Right? Let's say we're talking about going back to global warming. Right? And the student, let's say we're talking about sustainability. All right.
Mm.
Give me that's the unit is about sustainability. So you can say, look, it'd be really cool in this paragraph or this essay that I see words like reuse, recycle, reduce. Right? I see words like um, collaborate, share. Right? I see words like thrifty. Right? I see words like what's another word? Green. Right?
Mm.
All right. So
Then.
you give them, and again, you don't have to require that they have these words, but you say, hey, look, and here's some words, and it should be a discussion, by the
Mm.
way. This should be a discussion. Smooth moves. That's why the textbook is called Smooth Moves.
Mm.
So yeah, hey guys, you know, what type of words do you think is associated with when you think of sustainability? Now that we know, because you gotta remember, we have talked about when we're at this point where we're writing, we have talked about sustainability for a week or 2 weeks now, right?
Mm.
So what words did we hear a lot as we listened to the podcast, as we read the two informational texts, right? As we read the newspaper article, what words did we continuously see? Oh, reduce. Okay, yeah. Yeah, reduce might be in our writing. Um, sharing. Uh-huh. Sharing might be in our writing, right? Um, green, organic, right? Organic,
Yeah.
right? Right. So you say, hey, look, guys, let's agree that you're going to have some of these words. It might be a list of 20, 30 words again, that they have seen all throughout the unit, whether it's in reading, they heard it in the speaking, and you say, hey, look, uh, it might be a good idea that that these words be somewhere in your writing. And you
Yeah.
use them, okay?
And encourage
Right?
them to use these words in the
And to encourage them, because it's what? We're preparing them to write. And
Mm.
again, these should be words that they've already heard through your extensive. That's why it's important that they don't just listen to one thing. They listen to three or four or five things. They read three or four or five things. They talk to one another.
Mm.
Because the same words are going to pop up. So you point these words out. It'd be a good idea. Maybe you even put these in your rubric as you design your rubric. Sidebar note, there are a lot of rubric makers online to help you make rubrics. Okay.
Mm.
So it's not like the old days where you had to make a rubric on your own. There are a lot of websites that will help you make rubrics now, rubric makers. Okay.
Rubric makers.
Even ChatGPT or AI will help you make rubrics, but there are specific generators that will help you make rubrics.
Mm.
Um, the other principle is get students to write in class. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. And you have to have a well-disciplined class. If your class is noisy, then don't follow this advice because it's frustrating for people to try to write and people are talking and playing around. But if you
Mm-mm.
have a well-disciplined class and they can
Actually,
stay,
writing at home usually.
uh, but we want them to write in class because and we want them to write where the desks are separate because or uh you want them to write in class, right?
Mm.
And then it should be quiet time.
Mm.
Quiet should be a routine in your class. When it's reading time, and it's when it's reading time and writing time, there's quiet time, right? And then that's where you sit down at a desk and you have
Mm.
another desk next to you, right? And then you call students one by one and look at their writing. Look at their so so the class is here, you sit here, you're here at a desk, and then you have another desk right next to you,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
And then students come one by one doing this is your writing workshop. And then you can have one-on-one conversations with them about their writing, where they are in their writing.
Mm.
And make sure you follow the writing process, right?
Mm.
You follow the writing process. What is the writing process? Tell me.
Writing. If they are writing, if they answer the question you mean in the beginning.
What is the writing process?
Yes, to write
Brain,
uh,
brainstorm.
bra- brainstorming. Okay.
Brainstorming. A lot of students will discount brainstorming and they'll rush through it. Brainstorming, and you have to model this and you have to put a lot of value in this, in the brainstorm. A lot of teachers put value in the drafting. Don't put as much value in put value in the drafting, but brainstorming is more important because if they brainstorm well, they will outline well, then they will draft well.
Okay.
Okay.
Brainstorming and yeah.
Brainstorm. We call them pre-writing activities. Pre-writing activities is brainstorming and outline.
Mm.
Promote Venn diagrams. Promote KWL charts. You know what a KWL chart is?
No.
Right.
Wait, the first one, brainstorming, this is the pre-writing activity, as Wesley said. This is okay.
This is when they again you have look at it like this from the beginning of the unit to this writing activity everything's a brainstorm. All the
Yeah,
listening,
yeah.
but now it's the formal brainstorm because they're writing a work now.
Okay.
You want them, you want to give them brainstorming strategies. Just don't say brainstorm. You have to model these brainstorm strategies. And you don't do it all at one time. You do it throughout the school year. You show them a Venn diagram. You know what a Venn diagram is, right?
Yeah.
All
No,
right. You show them. All right. So when do we use Venn diagrams? When the student's writing what?
I forgot.
Compare, compare and contrast, right? So you ask them to
Yes, yes. Compare and
That's the,
contrast.
that's the three circles, right?
Three circles.
So that's so you might want to show them a Venn diagram for compare and contrast, right? KWL charts, KWL charts. There's so many different brainstorming strategies. Free writing. KWL chart is what the student knows already about the topic, what the student wants to know about the topic, and what the student has learned about the topic after their research. All right. KWL charts are powerful. All right. Because it helps them organize their thoughts. Okay.
We call it KW what, Mister?
Huh?
Again, KW what we call it?
AWL.
KW.
What the student what the student
No,
knows about
before.
the
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, okay.
student wants to know about the topic and what
Yeah.
the students learn. They can use that KWL chart to go out and do research or ask questions, or they can use it as a collaboration or as a discussion board. You know,
Okay.
use Google Classroom, use the different tools that you have in your LMS. If you have a discussion feature in your LMS, use it. Have the
Mm,
students talk to one another, not just in class. That's important for them to talk in class about the topics, but also talk to one another on a discussion board and give them credit for talking to one another on
mm.
discussion boards. And yes, they chat with each other on Roblox and Minecraft and these other games. All right, so take advantage of that. They know how to do discussion boards.
Okay.
Okay. The point that I'm making with you is that is imperative, is essential. You must have them brainstorm
Okay.
well.
Mm. Okay.
And you must give them credit. It must be included in the rubric and give them credit. Don't just give 5 points for the brainstorm. No, give them 10, 15, 20 points for a brainstorm. A good, well thought out brainstorm. And here's the next thing. Don't let them move to the next stage until you have approved their brainstorm. Now, how what will be the basis of your approval? The basis of your approval would be their topic sentence. If they're writing a paragraph or their thesis statement, if they're writing an essay. I think you have younger kids, right? Second grade.
Yeah.
So
First.
they're writing paragraphs. They should be writing paragraphs. So you want them to write topic sentences. So you can measure their brainstorm by how well they're able to establish a topic sentence.
Mm.
Now, what are the two parts of a topic sentence?
The part
What
of
are
the
the two parts of a topic sentence?
main idea.
No. Well, kind of, sort of. But the two parts of the topic sentence. Kind of, sort of. You kind of right. The topic, the topic, and the controlling idea.
Mm.
And remember that the topic sentence can neither be too general or too specific for a paragraph. Anyway, a little bit different when you write thesis statements.
Mm.
So they need to know what a topic sentence is. One of the biggest problems that we face in academia is we have kids who go to college and they write paragraphs, and paragraphs don't have any topic sentences. Every paragraph must have a topic sentence. I don't care if you're in the first grade. I don't care if you're in the fifth grade. I don't care if you're in college. I don't care if you get going for your PhD. Okay.
Okay.
So it's your job to make sure they know what a topic sentence is. A topic sentence has a topic and controlling idea. When I was coming up, we called them the main idea sentence. Same thing.
Mm. Yes. Oh, this is what we learned. The topic is the main idea sentence, right?
No, we nowadays in 2026 they call it the topic sentence.
Yeah.
People don't call it idea sentence anymore. I don't think so. Everybody calls it the topic sentence now. The topic sentence is the one sentence in a paragraph that tells you what the paragraph is about.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So sustainability is the key to a healthy society. So what is the topic?
Is the sentence that tell the what is
No,
the
no,
about
no,
is
no. Listen to me.
okay.
Sustainability,
Oh, okay.
sustainability, sustainability is the key to a healthy society. What is the topic?
You are asking me, right?
Yeah. No, what is the topic?
Oh, you are asking me what is the topic?
Yes.
Oh, okay. The topic is the controller idea, or what is the sentence
No,
about, or the paragraph about?
no, no, no. Listen to me again. Sustainability,
Okay.
the key to a healthy society.
Sustainability is the key that helps society. This is the topic.
What is the topic?
Again, what did you say?
It's not a trick question. All right, go back. What did I say the topic sentence is? Sentence must have a topic and a controlling idea. Got it?
Yeah,
See, so sentence must have a topic
and
and
the
a
control
controlling
idea. Sustainability.
right. Sustainability. Thank you. So what's the controlling idea?
Yeah, what did you say?
Sustainability is the key to a healthy society.
Okay, so the control idea, it will be the key that helps the society.
Yeah, key to a healthy society,
You know
right?
what did we learn? We learned that this is the thing, this is the topic.
Yeah. So every paragraph must have a topic sentence. So what you want to do when it comes to brainstorming, the brainstorm is number one, put a lot of value in the writing process within the brainstorm.
Okay,
Give
this is
them credit, give them points for good brainstorming.
mm,
Give them
the
points for
second.
good brain. And how do you know it's going to be a good brainstorm? Because they
If
would have
they
wrote
if they
would
write
have written
mm,
a topic sentence that has a topic and controlling idea. So when they write their paragraph, everything in my paragraph is going to be about what?
about the main idea, about the topic,
Which is what? Sustainability
sustainability,
being
about
being
sustainability.
but I just about sustainability that is the key to a healthy society,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Because if I say if I say sustainability is the key to a healthy society, and that's my topic sentence, right? And then
Yeah.
everything else in my topic in my paragraph is about sustainability and economics, then something I got the wrong topic sentence.
Yes, you are right. Okay.
See what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
my controlling idea tells the reader exactly what that paragraph is about. That
Mm,
paragraph is going to be about what a healthy society looks like and how sustainability controls that or dictates that.
okay. Mm, get it.
Give me 1 second. My dog is barking. I don't want him to.
Okay, don't
I don't
worry.
want,
Take your time.
give him one.
Okay.
He'll disturb the neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Ah, right.
So
With me. Mm.
again, the topic sentence can be how well you judge their brainstorming. and then what they wrote in the paper. Because again, and also you have to model it,
Oh, yes,
right?
what we said, yeah.
If you just say brainstorm and you show them a KWL chart and you show them a Venn diagram, whatever it is, right?
Okay,
They're not going to get it, right? You got to model it, you have to explain it, and you have to expect that there's some organization to that brainstorm. A
okay,
lot of times, again, a lot of times teachers don't put the value in the brainstorm. They say brainstorm and then don't put the value in it because they don't know how to really measure the brainstorm. You measure the brainstorm by the topic sentence that the students can produce, and you can look at the topic sentence and look at what they actually wrote as a brainstorm. Okay.
okay,
All of
okay.
this helps with what? Critical thinking. You have a question?
لا, just we want to complete the process. You said the first one brainstorming, then
Yeah. I'm
uh,
gonna just slow down. The reason why I'm putting a lot of value, spending a
okay.
lot of time on brainstorm is because
Mhm.
it is the most important part of the writing process by far. And again, most teachers value the drafting part but then they wonder why the students don't write well because they didn't put a lot of emphasis on the brainstorm. I
Mm.
mean, if it was up to me, students would brainstorm for a week, given this, depending on what they're writing,
The
right?
ideas that is.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
depends on what they're writing. But again, look at it like this: from the beginning of your unit, consider everything a brainstorm, right?
Mhm.
You are giving them the comprehensible inputs that are understanding and compelling
Yeah.
so eventually they're going to write. So when they speak, when they listen, when they talk to one another, when they read, all these things are going to help them with what? Produce a synthesis in their writing. And
Mm.
that's how you should look at it, right? The lower level writing activities is preparing them to write. Everything is preparing them to write. And writing is preparing them to be what? Quick on their feet when they speak.
Okay.
Writing is preparing them to be critical thinkers, true critical thinking. Critical thinking stems from writing. Critical thinking, writing stems from reading. All right. All right.
Yes. Mm.
And all of these transactions require thinking, speaking, debating, talking, collaborating. These all prepare for writing, which all prepares us to impromptu speak. So we can stand in front of and take an interview, or we can do, or we can debate somebody if we need to debate someone. Right? A lot of times people go in and they haven't written on the topic, and then they're not prepared. Okay. All right. After that, you have the outlining. Outline is about strategy.
Mm.
After they have considered, so let me say this. Once they have come up with their topic sentence, then they
Yes.
need to scrub their brainstorm and then brainstorm again for the topic sentence, right?
Yes.
And when I say
Mm.
brainstorm, that
Give
means
more
research,
detail. Mm.
more details, more research about now that they have a topic sentence. Because a lot of the stuff initially is in the initial brainstorm, they're not gonna be able to use, right?
Yes.
So now they need to now research the topic or the controlling idea. I'm sorry, the controlling idea.
Sure.
Now, the good thing about this is if you set up the unit appropriately and you gave them enough inputs, enough speaking inputs, enough reading inputs, excuse me, enough reading inputs, enough reading, yeah, it's enough listening inputs, enough reading inputs, you
Mm.
give the learners a lot of time to speak, right? Then they should have enough ammunition to brainstorm that second time in a
Mm.
very controlled way. They might still need to Google something. They might still need to research something online, but they with all the things you gave them to read and listen to, they should and in all the class discussions, they should be,
Mm.
80% there. Okay. After that second brainstorm, they confirm that they really like that topic sentence, right? And then they move on to outlining. Outlining is all about organizing their thoughts strategically that will defend that topic sentence. What you want to tell your learners is that the topic sentence is the boss, and that every sentence in that paragraph works for the topic sentence.
Of course.
So So to help them with that second brainstorm, you can say, hey, look, how many points do you want to use that will defend this topic sentence? If the topic sentence is sustainability is the key to a healthy society,
Mm,
how many points are you going to have to prove that?
mm,
Like, 2 points? Three. Typically, we say three. It doesn't have to be three, but typically we say three.
mm,
Okay. It could be one. It could be four. It could be five. But typically we say three. Three is a nice solid number. All right. So what are your three main points? This is in the second brainstorm, right? And then what are the details that support those main points? So the supporting details support the main points. The main points support the topic sets. Bada bing, bada boom. Right. Now, there are some teachers who tell their students to
mm,
write the sentences out when they're outlining. I disagree with that, right? Why? Writing is at the moment. The ideas should come at the moment. If we tell students to pre-write their sentences in this very sterile manner, right? They're missing out on what I call eureka moments, because sometimes the best ideas come at the moment. But if
mm,
we tell students just to write, okay, this is a topic sentence, this is main point number one, here's the details for main point number one, here's main point number two, here's the details of main point number two, here's main point number three, here's the details. You're taking away from those eureka moments, which is the spice,
yes.
right? It's the spice. It's what makes the writing interesting. It's what makes the writing uniquely that students. It helps the student gain a writing style. As though you know what? Oh yeah. So what I like to tell students to do is just write words, ideas, concepts. Don't write complete sentences yet. Okay.
Mm,
All right. Just write concepts, ideas. Don't write complete sentences yet. Because in theory, what would happen is now that they have their outline, right?
mm,
Now they begin to write their sentences based on the outline. And that's when those eureka moments, because just because it's in the outline doesn't mean they don't have to include everything in their outline, meaning those eureka moments. Oh, I'm gonna add this sentence. Oh, that's gonna make it really good. That's gonna make it really
mm,
good, right? That's gonna connect. That's gonna be a good segue. Oh, that's a really good idea. That's gonna bring these two things together. That happens at spontaneously, right? Spontaneous combustion, right? If you do a steroid, you miss out on those spontaneous moments that give the writing flavor. You create a writing style. You miss out on good points. So and again, there's a lot of teachers, and they're not necessarily wrong, but again, now we have the very bland writing, right? Very bland writing, very uniform writing, and that's not what writing is about. Remember what I said earlier? Writing is the synthesis that comes from the students, what the
mm,
student learned, what the student consumed. I don't like to use the word learned. What the student consumed in your class, other classes, last year, at home, when they outside playing, when they went on vacation, right? It's the whole comprehensive picture, holistic. Writing is a holistic experience. It's comprehensive,
mm,
right? And that's the fun part about it, is that they now get to inject themselves in it. Okay. Uh, so that's the outline. All right. And again, just because you wrote in the outline, you can still change it. The outline is just so you can have something visual, a visual structure that supports that's logical. Let's put it that way. A visual structure that you can see that's logical, and then you can begin to write the sentences and kind of let the magic happens. So let's say on your outline you have 12 kind of points, but you may end up writing 17 points because of those eureka moments, that spontaneous moments, right? All right. And then after the outlining, you have your drafting, your first
Drafting.
draft. Now, how many times do you draft? Students always ask, how many times do you draft? How many drafts do you want, teacher? Teacher, how many drafts? First draft, second draft, final draft? How many
Mm.
drafts? What did we tell students? What did we tell learners?
How many drafts they have to write, you mean?
When they say, teacher, how many drafts do you want?
One draft. They have
You
to
want
write
one?
one. لا, they have to write.
My answer when a learner asks me how many drafts I have to write, I said as many as you need
Oh,
before the due date,
before the, yeah, okay.
before the due date. If you
Yeah.
think you need five, if you need, but one thing's for sure, you better not turn in one draft.
Mm.
I don't care who you are. I don't
Yeah.
care how great of a writer you are. You
It's up
can't
to
turn in one.
them. Yeah.
But typically I say I need at least three drafts. I need at least the first draft, second draft, and the final draft. But I'm expecting to see a lot more than that. And how I help the students with that is I tell them on it because they all using laptops now, right? Or tablets. When they begin to write their um papers, when they begin to write their paragraphs, whatever they're writing, save, right? You save it right away, and you save it as sustainability paragraph 1, right?
We're gonna check the all the drafts they will write, or only the most
I
important
might
one is the final
know.
draft.
What I do in the university is I have them turn in all the drafts. The last draft is the one I grade, but
Yeah.
I look at the progression.
Are you are checking the process, all the steps, you mean?
That's going to help me because that's going to help me help the student when I get feedback.
Ah,
Because
okay.
feedback,
Let's see.
all right, and it's going to help me see where there's challenges in their thinking.
Oh,
Maybe
mashallah. But this is the first time I hear about this. Wallah, you are a good,
you,
يعني you are a
you,
good teacher.
this is how you teach writing. This is how you teach writing.
No, we
Writing
are
is not.
just taking the last draft. I don't care about the drafts. What do they use? يعني we don't actually we don't care what they how do they think? How do they write? Just give me
You
the last draft.
gotta understand this. We are when you teach grades 1 K through 12. This is
Mm,
pedagogy. Pedagogy. This is not andragogy.
mm,
They're two different things. See, a
yeah.
lot of the problem is, let me tell you the problem. Every teacher wants to be a professor. Every teacher thinks they're at the university and they're teaching and they lecturing at the professor as a professor. No, you're a K to 12 teacher. You teach pedagogy. You don't teach andragogy. Andragogy, yes, you take the final draft. I don't care about the other drafts. I don't want to see it. I don't care. I just want to see your final draft. Right? That's andragogy,
Yes.
right?
I
But we
like
are
your way.
K to 12. We're K to 12 teacher. We teach pedagogy. We teach children. So in pedagogy, we want to see the drafts because listen, I'm there have been many times the final draft wasn't very good,
Yeah.
but they showed me the first draft, they showed me a brainstorm, they showed me an outline. The brainstorm was very detailed, the outline, and they did 3 or 4 drafts, not even including the final draft. And I give them a good grade. You know why? Because they're on the right track. Even though that final draft might not have been the best, They are following the writing process and eventually they're going to get it.
Mm,
And more than likely they didn't cheat. What happens if how do you know if the student wrote the work if you just looking at the final draft,
mm. MashaAllah, I like
right?
the way
How do I,
actually.
how do I know? And this goes back to the learner profile. How can I support my students' learning? How can I include and update the profile if I'm not looking at the drafts?
Mm. We didn't get the
I
chance to learn like this.
I got it. Muhammad has a gap in thinking, or he cannot connect. He's not getting the gist of the text, or he doesn't really understand. He's not synthesizing well, or he's not analyzing well, or he's not comprehending well, or he can't identify the falling action. He can't
Mm,
identify who the protagonist is or the antagonist. He doesn't really understand what the story was about,
yes,
right? He
uh,
didn't get the gist of the he doesn't really know that this is that the author is comparing and contrasting or just comparing,
mm,
right? Or just contrasting. He hasn't picked up that that's and then I look at the totality of my learners and say I in the next unit or the next half of the unit, I
mm.
need to address these issues.
Yes, focus on it.
How do I
Very-
do this? How do
mm.
I do this if I'm not looking at the drafts? How do I do this if I'm not looking at the brainstorm?
So it
Because the
takes less
brainstorm
time
is
for
going to
you.
show me their logic. Remember, what I'm trying to do, I want them to be great, great critical thinkers. I don't need them, everybody to be a great writer. But I
Mm,
need I need young people to become old people who use common sense and logic and reasoning. And it's my job as an educator to help support them in their future logic and reasoning, to help them solve problems. And writing is a great way to get them to systematically think through problems. That's why we ask that why question through rationale, through deductive reasoning, right? Through deductive reasoning,
mm,
right? Through reasoning, through logic. Maybe do induction. Maybe
mm.
if they use induction, that they explain why they're using induction versus deduction.
Mm,
Right? That's my job. That's the money. My job is not just to ask them who the protagonist is and identify the main idea and where the comma goes and what does this word mean. No, that's baby stuff. My job is to help them with their critical thinking skills so when they become adults, they can work through problems rationally. They can become self-regulated, self-determined, self-efficient. That is my job. And
mm,
the best tool that I have is writing. The second best tool that I have from a high level standpoint, the best tool I have is writing. And the second best tool I have is speaking. So what do I need my students to do? Before they write and speak, they got to do what? They got to read. They have to listen. So I need to give them a lot of listening. I need to give them a lot of reading. I need to give them a lot of opportunities to speak to prepare them for writing and then higher problem solving, which may require what? Speaking.
mm,
High level speaking, because a lot of times you can solve problems or you can resolve problems, well, not solve problems, but you can resolve problems through speaking, not necessarily writing. Sometimes it's writing, but 90% of the time as adults it's through speaking and using good rationale and logic.
yes.
Where are they going to learn that? They have to learn that in the schoolhouse. They can learn that at home. They can learn that through good parenting, right? But I get paid. That's what I get paid for. That's what every educator gets paid for. Every educator gets paid to help learners solve problems,
Mm,
whether it be current problems or future problems, whether it's today's problems or problems 25 years from now. And I can do that through writing and using the writing process. And I can look at their brainstorm and say, why did you come up with this? How did you, based on this, how did you come up with this topic sentence? All right, I look at your outline. Is your outline logical? Is it reasoning? Are you showing real good reasoning? How are these ideas connecting? Aren't you kind of breaking unity with main point number three? Oh, you're not breaking unity? Let's tell me, okay. That's why I said you want in your classes, you want in-class workshops,
Mm,
right? So you can have the opportunity before they turn it in and you give them a lower grade. They have the opportunity to sit right next to you. It has to
mm.
be quiet time to say, and you look at it and say, well, you came up with this. Is that good logic? Does that really make sense? Is that the next possible outcome? Would that really happen in real life? Is that is that reasonable?
Okay. And correct
You know,
the grammar mistakes on.
maybe you
Yes.
want to go back and rethink that, right?
Okay.
Or
And
or if go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, that's okay. And while he is sitting next to me, I will correct also the grammatical mistake, the spelling mistakes, everything, right? No?
No,
No. Oh, you said
no,
no. Mechanics. Okay.
don't waste your time.
Really?
That's a precious moment. You can do that when you do grammar points, when you go over reading show grammar points, whatever. Don't waste that precious time with something silly like spelling. That's a waste of time.
Mm,
Okay? I don't care. I don't care if they're the worst speller in the world. They can still be the best thinker.
mm,
They can still be the best writer. Okay. With all this technology now, spell check and ChatGPT and all this Grammarly and all these, you don't need to be a great speller. Okay. And let me tell you something.
mm.
If they're doing a lot of reading, they will be good spellers. Okay, by default.
You hear
Okay.
that?
They're doing a lot of reading, they're going to be great spellers because they're going
Mm.
to see the words over and over again.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the
Don't
word.
waste, don't
Correct.
waste your time on grammar. Don't waste your time on spelling. That's nonsense. Teachers do that because that's the easy way out. It's much harder to have a conversation with a student about their reasoning, about their logic, about their rationale, and it kind of help them through that.
Mm,
It's easier just to say, oh, your subject verb agreement is off. You spelled this word wrong. Oh, no, see, you didn't put a full stop at the end of the sentence. That's easy. That doesn't help them with writing.
mm.
They
Yes,
can know where the comma goes. They can know where the full stop goes. They can spell till their face turn blue, and they can be sucky writers. They can be horrible thinkers.
yes.
Right? Somebody you have to challenge their thinking. You have to sit there and say, and that's when you have these conversations, when you're doing reading, when you're doing speaking, you're challenging their logic. You're preparing them to write. You're having them to you're having them create a position and defend their position. You're asking why. You're saying, what makes you say that? Why do you say that? Why? Tell me, explain more.
Mm. Yes,
Give
you're
me
right.
three reasons why. Okay, that's reason number one. If you can't give me three reasons why, you need to go back and think about your rationale. And if you only have one reason, that reason better be compelling, right? Challenging them. That's the money, not where to put a full stop. Oh, yeah, I know a lot of grammar. So what?
Yes, you are right. Actually, we didn't get the chance to
I,
learn writing like
I've
this.
never, I've never had anybody walk up to me and I never, in all the jobs I've had in my life, and I've had many jobs, I've never had anyone say, Ray, where do you put the comma? How do you spell this word?
Yes.
What's an appositive? Can you explain splitting infinitives? Nobody cares. What they're concerned about in an interview is what is your logic? Are you a problem solver? Can you get things done? Are you efficient? Are you effective? Are you a good team player? Can you collaborate? Do you work well with others? Do you stay calm under pressure? Do you use good logic? Can you solve problems?
Yes. Mm.
So these are the money. That's the money. Because again, if a student gives me a piece of writing that is spelling is horrible, the grammar is not that great, and the punctuation is all over the place, but the ideas is great, he's getting an A+ in my book. And
Mm.
I and will I and will I tell him, hey, look, Muhammad, look, John, look, Mary, you need to work on your spelling. You need to work on your. I'm gonna write that as a note, but they're
No.
getting an A.
Yes.
That's barring that the ideas are so great. Now, if they give me bad ideas and they have bad grammar and bad spelling, then we got problems, right? But we have to inspect what we expect. We have to we have to have we have to have rigor. One of the biggest problems in schools today is that we don't have rigor. You gotta it has to be it has to be challenging. Right? Writing is not easy. Okay.
Yes. Not easy.
So um sharing their writing with others. Again,
Share. This is number 4, right? Share.
oh no, it's still under get them to write in class. This is 4, yeah. Get them
Yes,
to
this
write in
is 4.
class. The,
Oh.
the desk, you get them in writing class, you coaching them in class, and share their work. All right? Maximize opportunities for them to write in class.
Mm.
Follow again. The fifth is follow the writing process. We just talked about brainstorm, outline, drafting. All right. When they turn it in, publish it.
The
Create a
fifth one,
Facebook
the fifth one published, sorry, right?
process the writing. So from brainstorm to outline for publishing. So process the writing. It's not over when you grade the work. Okay. It's
Mm.
not over. So you give them an A- or B+ or whatever you give them. It's not over. Put the work on the wall. Put the work in the class somewhere. Publish it to Facebook.
Mm.
Create a blog. Get a website. You can get a website for free nowadays.
Yes.
Publish it in classroom. Show them that their effort is worth something.
Mm.
Don't just have them spend all this time writing something. Oh, okay, you got A-. All right, next unit, next thing. No, celebrate it. And how about this? Have them rewrite it.
Yes.
Ooh, have them rewrite it.
Mm.
Have them rewrite it for opportunity to get a better grade. Ooh,
Mm.
publish it. Post it on the school cafeteria. Get a bulletin board. Let people see it. So when their parents come for parents' night, they can go, look, mom, here's the paragraph I wrote. I got an A- on.
Yes.
Okay. Put it on a wall. Publish it. Have them rewrite. Have them write a have them now write a speech based on what they wrote. See, can they talk for a minute based on their writing? All right, no notes. All right, Ray, stand in front of the class and tell us about your position on on sustainability. And see, can they just talk for the 1 minute? Not the paragraph, not in front of them, right? They've seen the paragraph for a while.
Mm.
Sustainability is all about reducing, reusing, recycling, right? uh it's important because if we don't take on a sustainable mindset, our children and our grandchildren won't be able to fish the lakes in the oceans, and they won't be able to look at beautiful trees and plants, and they won't be able to breathe clean air, right?
Yes. Mm.
It's imperative that we now take sustainability seriously for not just ourselves but for the future, for all of humanity. All right. So great ideas. Have them celebrate them. Have them do a speech. Have a talk about it. Okay. Writing, remember, in summary, writing is a thinking process. It's a thinking process. It's a higher order thinking process. It's not just recording ideas. It's not just regurgitating ideas like you mentioned earlier. Students just writing word for word what they see on the Google or what they see online or what's in text. All right. You cannot be lazy when it comes to writing. You have to look at it as that's your money, that's your prize, that's your paycheck. That's the Van Gogh, the Mona Lisa. Okay.
Yes, you're right.
Okay. Again, drafting is key. Teacher, how many drafts? I want to see as many drafts as you need. And I better see more. Focus on the process, not the end product. There's all this, you hear people talk about product writing, writing as a product. No, 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 no writing as a product. Bad teacher, bad teacher. See, that's what teachers do. They write as products. Bad teachers do that. You're not a teacher. You're an educator. You're a researcher. Don't be a teacher. Teacher write as a product. Teachers worry about the final draft. That's why they say, I don't care about the draft. Just give me the final work.
Yes, this is what we are focusing on. We wish we had the teacher like you and teach us writing like this, actually. We
Well,
didn't get
you
the
know
chance
now.
actually to learn writing like this.
No, you know, and you can share this with other people.
Yes, of
So
course.
now you get, like we talked about the other sessions, give a workshop on this.
Yes, inshallah, I will. That's why I answered you. It's only
And
when
say
I
this,
drop.
let me say this.
Mm,
Is it hard? It is hard.
mm.
It is hard. It is
Yeah, it's
time
hard.
consuming.
It's
It is
consuming.
time consuming. I'm not going to sit up here and sugarcoat it. It is time consuming, but
Yeah,
it is so essential if we want to create young people who will become great critical thinkers.
that's why I'm telling you that we wish that we had a teacher like you and teach and taught us writing in that way. Even in the university, they didn't tell us that.
But you got to remember, the university is andragogy.
Mm,
University is not pedagogy. That professor, he only cares about the final product. That's andragogy. It's
yes.
adult. That's for adults. Adult
Yeah.
final product. All
Yes.
right. Pedagogy is we refine our writing from kindergarten to 12th grade. So when we get if we decide to go to university, then we can deal with that man who just says, "Give me I want the paper next Tuesday."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we know what to do because
Yeah.
he doesn't want to waste his time doing that because he feels like you have 12 years doing that. He
Yes.
wants product. He wants product. Why? Because your boss is going to want product.
Yes, you are right.
When you go in the workforce, your boss is going to want product. So pedagogy is the time where we slow down, forget product, and worry about process.
Mm.
And 12 years of process, 12 years of creating a young person who understands the process, who understands how to synthesize, how to create and defend their position. So when they go to college, if they go to, and here's the great thing about it, they don't
Mm.
have to go to college. They're fine with what they have in the 12th, what they learned up until the 12th grade. In fact, college may hurt them. College may hurt them.
Yes.
Because now they're not given the time to brainstorm and think through. College may hurt them.
Yeah, you're right.
This this is again, this is what we do as educators. You have to decide whether you want to be a teacher or you
Correct.
want to be an educator.
Mm,
Teachers worry about final product. Teachers don't front load quicks. Teachers don't front load the questions,
mm,
right? Teachers don't do these things. Okay. Educators do everything that we talked about when we talked about teacher listening, teacher speaking, teacher reading, teacher
mm.
writing. Did you learn anything today?
Of course, a lot.
All right. Look at you. I'm glad you learned something.
Thank you so
Um,
much. Really, I liked what I learned today, really. MashaAllah,
okay.
you are a good teacher. You're a good educator. Well, they are lucky, your students, actually, in the university. They are lucky.
Yeah, no, they look at me and go, "Oh, why did we get this guy? Why did we get the guy who just wants to grade out paper?"
No,
All right.
mashallah,
Well,
they are lucky, really.
we every once in a while I'll get an email or a Facebook, and normally Facebook, it's normally Facebook message. And it goes something like this. I've gotten this maybe 4 or 5 times while I'm here in Saudi. And it goes something like this. When I first met you, I hated you.
Really?
You made it so hard. This is the first time a teacher made it hard. You made us do this and you made it do that. And you told us that this was going to be important. And I didn't believe you. And everything that you said came true in my life.
Yeah.
And now you are, when I think of a teacher or I think of an educator, I think that you're the best educator I had. Something like this.
Yes,
Uh,
mashallah. Yeah,
and
he is right.
that's the money. Because
Mm.
I do get a lot of students who resist because they're so used to what? Teachers, yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, blah, blah, blah. Then they think it's, yeah.
But and I always say, because this is from my perspective. I am angry at my high school teachers. Angry. The one teacher that I could not stand, Miss Alice Taylor, chemistry, 10th grade, 11th grade chemistry. I could not stand that woman because she used to, Ray, you got a sloppy notebook. Your notebook is sloppy. You sloppy. You need to get your act together. Hey, pay attention. Look at me, boy. Look at me, boy. Come here. You need this chemistry, boy. You need this chemistry. Stop talking. Fix that notebook. You better not come in my class with a sloppy notebook. Right? She's always say, I had a sloppy notebook. Do you know when I took freshman chemistry, everything that she taught in Lubbock was in the freshman chemistry?
You see?
Everything. And
Oh,
all those other teachers that I used to be able to scam, oh, I used to be able to scam them. I did very bad in English literature classes because
mm,
my teachers did not give me rigor. They
yeah.
didn't force me to do certain things. They didn't force me to think at a high level. Oh, Ray, yeah, you're really good. You could write, and trust me, I was when it came to writing, yeah, I knew where to put my full stops, I knew where to put my commas, I knew how to sentence structure, but I wasn't a great thinker. And
Yes.
look, he knows how to write a sentence. His grammar is good. But I didn't know how to synthesize. I didn't know how to analyze. I
Mm.
didn't know how to evaluate. I barely knew how to comprehend.
Yes, you are. I'm suffering this from starting with my kids, actually. When they want to write about something, I ask them, go read first. Go read first. But I will take what you said, actually. I will tell them to summarize first, then write again, inshallah. Mm.
Make sure they understand the basics, the summary, looking at the details, knowing what's going. The first thing they need to know is the gist. Gist. What is this about? Then the details, and then whatever's going on, and then the main idea. What does the author want us to really know and
Mm.
take
Yes,
away? What's the
yes,
takeaway? Right?
yes, you are
All
right.
right. We will see you Saturday. Thank you.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, inshallah.